Hey everybody, welcome back to the WahooWarrior channel. You know me, I'm the WahooWarrior, and I'm doing a series, I'm starting a series of tactics. I was talking to Eric Fontaine when I was down at the ClawCon, and we've been talking online since then, and his passion and enthusiasm for bolt action is probably unequaled. But he kind of got me fired up to, he started talking about doing a tactics series. And I've been meaning to do that for a long time. I always kind of put it on the back burner. So I've got me a full pint of beer and a half wit. So I'm going to talk about snipers today. I went ahead and set up a board. It's a 2x2, or correction, 2x4. So it's basically as if it's one section of an entire board. And we're going to put some units against each other. And we're going to talk about initial deployment beginning of the game, and we're going to talk about use of snipers through the game, and we're also going to probably talk a little bit about why you even take a sniper in the first place. So let's get into that. So first off, snipers, they're 50 points for a regular and 65 points for veteran. Almost every nation in bolt action, that's pretty much the same. I think United States can add some submachine guns to their snipers, so it changes the points a little bit. But for the most part, we're just going to go with the 50 and 65. So adding an order dice to your dice bag for 50 points, that's kind of a bonus right off the bat. I've played snipers a bit, and I'll tell you one thing is when you're getting shot at by snipers, they seem awesome. They're so annoying. They're so powerful. When you have them, I swear it feels like you can't hit the broadside of a barn, and when you do hit something, you don't kill it. And when they take their order check, they clear that one pin and it never even affects them. So I have taken them and felt like I've never done much with them. Also, I have learned a little bit about watching and playing with better players than I when it comes to snipers. Kind of some do's or don'ts, and I'm going to try to relay those on to you. If you're a newer player, maybe this will help you. If you're a more experienced player, feel free to comment your thoughts on snipers. Some people don't leave home without them, and some people have given up on them. So when you're putting your list together, you know, including a sniper, you need to figure out what you're going to do with it. If you're just throwing 50 points out there and you don't have any expectations, it's probably just an easy order dice for your opponent to pick up. But if you have some planning and strategy behind it and how you deploy it when you first set it up on the table, it can make a big difference in the game. So you're looking at this board here, and we've got my Romanians here on one side within 12 inches of the deployment zone, and we've got the British Army over on the other side. You know, your very typical British versus Romanian in a desert-ish setting battle, very common in World War II. Not really, but you can pretend they're Italians if you want. So the British side has deployed, and one thing about snipers is that they always deploy last in almost every scenario. So when you have a chance to control, like I put an objective marker here in the middle. So on this portion of the board, somebody's placed an objective marker, say there's more on the full table. So it may help you be able to capture that. So in the past, what I've done with my snipers a lot of times, like whenever you place a sniper, the enemy cannot place the sniper or any other forward deployed within 12 inches of it. So you can control a piece of a board by using a sniper. If I place this sniper in here, you know, and that's where I want him, then I'm kind of keeping an enemy forward deployer. So say he has irregulars or something like that, he can't put him in there. Usually scenarios also say you can't be within 12 inches of an objective marker. For this scenario, we're just going to pretend like that rule doesn't exist, because I've played games where they haven't bothered with that too much. So when you place that sniper in that, if I placed him right there, I got to ask myself, why am I doing that? Because they've already deployed everything that's going to be on the board. So I go, oh, here's a nice piece of hard cover. Snipers in hard cover are wonderful, because normally it's a 3 to hit. Hard cover be a 5, small team a 6. And if there's any range involved, it's a 7. If they're moving, it's a 7. So that's great. And this is what I've kind of done, I think, wrong many times, is I deploy my snipers way far forward. I want to put them in a nice piece of hard cover. Well, if you look at the board, he's got a Gurkha team getting ready. Where they're planning to go is into those woods. and then out of that woods and into this. And then I'm just going to be a stepping stone and actually probably give him a free order dice when he walks right over the top of me. So that wouldn't be really a very good deployment unless I had some other nefarious scheme in mind, and I don't. When I'm looking at targets for my sniper as a Romanian player, if I won the role to go first, what is the most vulnerable stuff on the British line? Because snipers are great for picking off single teams or infantry-based teams. So if I can get a sniper shot on that medium machine gun team, because it counts as exceptional damage, and I roll a kill, I will remove that whole 50 points, or if it's a veteran, 65 point piece, and I take an order dice out of the game. If order dice are important, they control the game. Also, you often score your victory points on top of controlling tokens, especially in a tournament setting. He's got an artillery piece. You know, if I'm worried about that artillery piece, shooting an artillery piece, I will not auto kill it, but I will score a pin on it and then maybe force it to do order checks. It would take 3 hits on that to actually pick it off. He doesn't have a sniper out, or a spotter for the howitzer out here. I would assume it would be deployed somewhere else in the battlefield to give this thing opportunities to fire indirect over on the other side of the field. No one would want to put a spotter out here in front of it because it wouldn't do any good. There's a not a half track, but an open top priest kangaroo here with a squad of regulars in it. Shooting a sniper at a target like that is viable. You can put a pin on it, you won't hurt it. You can pile up pins on the squad inside it, but that would not want to be your primary target. So looking at this side of the board, the primary goals of my sniper as a Romanian player are going to be 1, pick off that medium machine gun team, maybe put pins on the howitzer, and if that Gurkha squad moves up into those woods, start picking on them and trying to knock off their NCO and try to put pins on them and force a check. It's a veteran unit, so it's very difficult to do any damage. But as a veteran Gurkha player, I know how infuriating it can be when you get 2 pins on you. There's nobody within range to do, like, say, an up and at 'em and get a charge, and you're trying to pass that order check on turn 4 or 5 where it's super important, and you fail. It's huge. So that 1 pin or the 2 pins that you can put on there, or a 1 pin and a dead NCO can make it can change the entire game. Obviously, a tank, there's no target there for a sniper, can't do anything to it. But having said that, sometimes it's very nice to be what I call tank bait. If you put your sniper in a position where the tank can shoot it, oftentimes they don't like to waste their machine gun shots when you have a tank on the board, and you can sometimes bait vehicles into firing at you. Now that said, when you go over the terrain with your opponent, one of the things you got to look out for deployment as a sniper is buildings. So there's a window there and a door. I could put a sniper inside that building. But if you fire HE at a building, you ignore the building. The FAQ has changed it to you don't ignore small team and you don't ignore down orders. So you can, if say this had a medium howitzer on it, or as a Sherman with a 75, you might be able to use your sniper to rope a dope an opponent into thinking that you're making a mistake. If you deploy this sniper inside this building, they may be very excited to try to get that HE shot on that building because they were going to ignore the terrain modifier. Just don't be on a fire order, and you can go down in your small team, and you're still going to be, if he's even at short range, he's going to be needing 4-5 for the down, and +1, he's going to need a 6. Well, if you're trying to bait him into that shot, that's not a bad exchange if you've got something like a tank destroyer behind that dense terrain ready to pop out and try to get that tank. I've used that tactic to mixed success before. You need to watch out though if it's like, say, a medium or heavy howitzer who's going to start off the game in short range, because they'll eventually probably get you. But down and small team will help you. So anywho, as a Romanian player, here's what I used to do a lot too. I would deploy somewhere up close, thinking, aha, I'm gonna be contesting that objective right off the bat. They're gonna get me off there, and I'll get my infantry up there. I tell you, having played some games against people like John Stentz and Steve Boley and stuff, when they use their snipers, they often deploy them back along their line, in a nice position, you know, like maybe on top of this house, and then you're like, they're not really that threatening, but snipers have a 36-inch range, so that's basically the backboard edge. There's really no reason to be so forward deployed just because you can, barring very particular scenarios where there's very limited terrain and you want to be in a piece of hard cover. Play them back. You can always move them later. They're an infantry unit. They can run. They can do all the same things that an infantry squad can, other than they can't run, move, advance, and fire with the sniper scope, but they can still shoot their 2 rifles or whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and do the deployments. So I'm going to go ahead as a Romanian player. I'm going to, oh, the other thing, the other consideration is, does the enemy have a sniper? That's very important. So does the enemy have a sniper in his list? If you have a sniper and he has a sniper, it's more likely than not going to turn into a sniper war. If that's the case, you're going to want your sniper to be veteran, and you're going to hope that his is regular. In rolling that dice and getting the first pick isn't always the best. So if you have, like, say, an artillery spotter or something, you can place that artillery spotter out, or a mortar spotter, and be the first deployment out, and if you can limit him to see where his sniper goes, then you can decide, do you want to challenge a sniper or not. I feel like I fail and lose out on most of those sniper versus sniper type of battles, and I don't really prefer doing that. That's my particular thought process. I'd rather have my sniper pick on other targets and let his sniper pick on my other stuff, and try to deal with the sniper in another way, usually close combat if possible. So we're going to say for this argument that the British do not have a sniper. Okay, so it's just a Romanian sniper against the British Army on this side of the board, and we're going to go ahead and deploy our sniper. And so we're going to just, we are going to, so if we place him up here in this, behind this shell hole, it's a little safer from the Gurkhas. You can see the medium machine gun team. You can see the howitzer. The only thing he needs to really worry about is that that half track with the guys in it. And in this situation, I'm okay with that because I've got a tank destroyer hiding behind the woods over there. If he wants to bring that half track up with the 8 or 9 man regular squad in it, and he wants to come out here on a 9-inch move order, if he fires his medium machine gun at me, he's going to need 7s to hit me. It's going to be movement for 4, small team 5, hard cover 7. I'm not worried about that at all. I'll stay up. He can come out with his rifles. Even if his rifles come to the edge of this, he's going to have 8 shots, needing 7s as well. Movement, small team, hard cover. I don't even have to go down. And now his vehicle is in a nice position for my tank destroyer to come out, and it's also screening his infantry, and his vehicle are also screening my tank destroyer from his counterattack of a light anti-tank gun and a tank, because you cannot fire within 1 inch of your own troops. So I'm okay with that deployment right there. It's aggressive, yet it's cautiously and thoughtfully aggressive. So alright, so I'm going to move a turn or two, and we're going to advance the game a little bit and talk about target selection. Alright, so we've advanced the game up just a little bit. This squad, veteran rifle squad, has moved up. Lieutenant ran down. That squad's moved up and taken a pin. The sniper's still there, and the tank destroyer is out from its cover. Basically, the Gurkhas have moved up into the tree line here. They're starting to threaten the middle of the board. The tank had to kind of drive out of this cover and start to go threaten something. And I had the Kangaroo come out and disgorge its troops. It got popped. The troops came out and went down. They have 2 pins on them. The howitzer is back here, and it's just kind of still on its own. So in this situation, you know, the sniper hasn't, well, it picked off the medium machine gun team. So it picked up an order dice right off the bat. So it's 1 order dice for the Romanians. And then it's also kind of in retaliation of wanting to kill that sniper. And I say this because I've done this many times myself. People get a little bit aggressive because they want to go up and they want to stab that sniper to death that has killed their thing. And it just seems like an easy target. but it can take a lot of shots needing 7s from machine gun, machine gun, machine gun, and doesn't even take a hit. So that's what we're looking at. So now, you know, we've got Romanians have 5 dice in the back compared to the British's 4, which the British started with 6, at least in this quadrant of the board. So when you go to put the dice in the bag, and you're going to start drawing them out. As a Romanian player, I'm looking at my sniper here, and one of the nice things about mid game is that your sniper gives you a lot of options. If they want to shoot at him, that's great. I feel like that's just wasted shots for the most part. They might be trying to pick up a quick order dice, and you really see that in turns 5 and 6 when people are like, oh man, I need order dice, and that's the easiest target. I've seen them fire indirect heavy howitzers at them, or mortars and whatnot, to try to pick them off, to pick up a lucky 6. But so in this instance, you know, the sniper has the advantage of if somebody wants to shoot at him, that's fine, go down. Now what you need to be careful of when people start to get close is if you activate your sniper too soon, they're probably going to be too close for a sniper shot on this infantry here, and they have 2 pins on them. The Gurkhas have 1 pin on them, and they are actually a very dangerous unit. I can't do anything to that tank, so I just have to hope that my tank will knock out his tank. So in the order of priorities right now, we're looking at tank versus tank. We're looking at needing a 5 to hit each other because it's going to be short range. The tank destroyer is a medium anti-tank gun, but only a 7 armor, and this has a light anti-tank gun, but an 8 armor. So it's about even. Neither one are really infantry destroyers, but definitely the tank has more advantage than that. So we're going to just live draw the dice and go over the order selections. So it's British. So the British have a few options. They have their howitzer, they have the infantry squad, and the tank. So we'll just do the tank. So right now, moving ahead for the tank doesn't do it any good, and you can just going to fire. Could fire a light anti-tank gun at the tank destroyer, and fire this front arc medium machine gun at, say, the sniper. So as the Romanian player, I'm going to look at that. It's going to be normally a 3. It might be short range. It's going to be small team 4, hard cover 6. I prefer it to be a 7, but a 6 I think I can live through 5 shots, so I'll stay up. Let's go ahead and check the range real quick. There is 18, so it is at short. So looking for 6s against my sniper team. 5 shots, didn't move. Hitting 6, got no 6s at all. So I'm fine. And the anti-tank gun, light anti-tank gun, normally need a 3, hard cover 5, scores a 3. So it misses. So no harm to the Romanians, and one of the bigger threats from this army is done with. So I'm going to pull the next order dice. Pull black. So that'll be Romanian. So now, actually, now that that's happened, the tank destroyer is not pressing. There's no really rush for it to go. The howitzer, if you come down here and look from the howitzer's point of view, it can see it, but it would have to fire through the infantry squad, which it can't, so it would have to fire indirect, and it needs to hope that it's not within 24 inches. Not really a horrible danger at this moment. So now you're looking at what we're going to do. We got 2 pins on this squad. It'd be great if we can keep it pinned down. If we can keep that from moving, it just continues to protect us from the light anti-tank gun or /light howitzer, which a British one is both. Now 1 pin on the Gurkhas. That's not so good because Gurkhas are already at 10. If they clear that 1 pin, they can move out and fire, and it's starting to get to the point where it might be a little dangerous for this veteran squad. Although if they move up into this section of the thing, we're going to be getting hard cover. So, you know, as a sniper choice, the 2 choices for me I would be looking at the howitzer to put a pin on it, or the Gurkha squad to put that second pin. Now the second pin is always is very, very important. One pin is annoying, but as soon as you clear it, no penalties of shooting. 2 pins, you're carrying one with you all the time. So you clear that one, you pass, and you move ahead, and you're firing at -1. It's very important. I do have other things that could put that pin on that Gurkha squad though. I've got a squad back there with a light machine gun that has a pin on them. So if they clear theirs, they can move and get that light machine gun in a nice position to start firing. Oh, so many choices. I'm going to actually fire the sniper at the howitzer to try to force a pin on it. So normally you need a 3. Doesn't get any worse or better. Nothing matters to a sniper other than pins on it. So I rolled a 2, which is what I almost always do, and I missed, so it's no big deal. Alright, so that's just some mid-game strategy. I'm going to go ahead and play out a little bit of a turn, and we'll see where we're at. Real quick, for the sake of argument, because this is a common misconception to newer players, if I'd have scored a hit on this howitzer, the snipers ignore the gun shield, so this is a regular howitzer. I'd be hit killing on a 4, and I'd kill a 4. I'd just take a model off. It doesn't destroy the gun, just point of emphasis, and it would take a pin. Artillery pieces don't die automatically like medium machine gun teams. Alright, so I just go ahead and advance these guys a little bit. The lieutenant ran over to help them clear their order check. They're able to move up and advance. So now we've got a light machine gun in this foxhole here. It's got a light machine gun. They put down some shots on that howitzer. Didn't cause any damage, caused a pin. And the Gurkhas are out of the woods and now a threat to the middle of the board. So, you know, when you get to these like mid-term games, if your opponent had a lieutenant running around helping people, he's a great target. Like if the British had one, my lieutenant running over there, to start plucking shots at him. Other than that, mid-game, you want to look at where's the value for your shot going to be. Assume you're going to put a pin. Don't really assume you're going to kill anything for the most part. So these guys rallied. So you know it's about to get really tight in here, and so the sniper his value starts to go not so important. If you can put a second pin on this howitzer, that might be a big difference. Other than that, you're just kind of hanging out. Worst case scenario, you stay alive. At the end of the game, you're alive to contest that objective. A lot of times, I see this a lot is with, like, say, Russian players and stuff. They'll have so many two-man teams of things, it's difficult to keep them away from contesting objectives. On turn 6 or so, they can really move in there and just annoy. You can't kill them all. So, all right. Well, I think that's about it as far as sniper chat. You know, it is important if you can get a kill and a pin. It is nice if you take out that NCO. It makes it -1 more for the order checks. I tend to choose the NCO as opposed to a light machine gun, because if they fail a check with a pin and a dead NCO, that's no shooting. If you knock out a light machine gun and they pass, they still can shoot at you. So I tend to go for the NCO first, and then I'll go for special weapons after that. So, well, I know there's not much to this video. One of the things I like about bolt action is, you know, when you say, oh, take a sniper, I don't know if he's any good. In some games, he's a superstar. Some games, he wins you. For 50 points, he's one of the most versatile 50-point teams, in that he can knock out enemy NCOs and lieutenants. He can knock out like machine gun teams and mortar teams. He can knock out like flamethrowers. So it can be very, very powerful. I think if used defensively, they're much more powerful. If you deploy them too aggressively and you're trying to just really aggressively pick off something, you're subject to getting basically washing an ordered dice. Sometimes that could be important, but I don't always take a sniper in my list. I think I have my list I'm planning to take to North Star. I think I added a sniper. Yeah, I know I did. Because I'm also running some irregulars, you get to deploy in that zone, so he'll be a little more protected. But anyway, alright guys, feel free to put your comments in there if you have thoughts on a sniper or the way you run snipers. I think veteran snipers are the way to go if you're going to take one. That 15 points, they're very, very difficult to kill. If you're in hard cover, taking these shots, say these Gurkhas move out, they get tired of that sniper, they're going for an end of the game push on that token, and they move out here and they're going to shoot at that sniper, and I'm already on a fire order, I can't go down. If I'm a veteran, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rifles and 2 submachine guns. So if we just roll, let's just roll them out. Alright, so I've got 4 submachine gun shots. I'll use these blue dice. 4 submachine gun shots. And 6 rifles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So normally need a 3. It'd be movement and or long range for the rifles or submachine gun. So 4, and then hard cover 6, and small team 7. So look how close I am there. I'm not even on a down order. So movement, long range, hard cover, small team. I need 7s. So it's like they're there, they get tired, they're like, I can't take this sniper anymore. They get up there and I got 2 possibles and nothing. So even if I'd gotten 1, if I was a veteran, it'd be a 5 up. You know, you're very likely to live. If I had needed 6s there, if I had been a little closer with those submachine guns, you know, it would have been 2 hits, no dead. If you do lose 1, so you have a regular and you lose 1 on a 4 up, or even a veteran on a 5 up, now this squad takes the pin. Their leadership is either 10 or 9 respectively, and they have to take the test at because they have lost half their unit, so it's -1. Then it'd be also -1 because it's the last man of a team. So a regular needs a 7, they would pass. A veteran would need a 8, and they would die, of course. Reverse math. Always on when the video's on. But the reality, the likelihood of sticking around and being alive without your loader is higher if you have a veteran for 15 points. I know sometimes you get those lists, they get tight, and you want to take a little bit of everything. But if you're going to take a sniper, barring having a plan with other units that you're using your sniper for a particular purpose, the extra 15 points is usually pretty well worth it. They're very tough to root out of things and to kill. And I've seen a lot of people shoot a lot of senseless shots at them just hoping for a kill, like an entire squad of shooting, for example. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if I can improve the videos or what you'd like to see, any kind of tactics or anything I didn't cover about snipers, anything you still have questions, just post, comment, I'll try to address it. Thanks.